Just talk about Kang's preparations, like his gains, what you notice different about him, how intense his training is.
Okay.
So you can just talk about that.
So Dennis, what's different now is that when people saw him against Alan Belcher, people didn't know that he had broken his ankle before, and that training camp he only really got to spar, I think, twice, so 2 weeks before the fight. So basically all his training was conditioning, and he couldn't really do anything, couldn't do any jumping, couldn't do any running, so we basically had him only on the airdyne bike. So he didn't wrestle, he looked pretty sloppy. So now the real Dennis Kang is starting to show. We're getting him to train pretty intense. You know, he's a hard worker, so we're changing around his explosiveness. We want him to be able to explode and recover. He's jumping, his ankle's fine, so he's jumping great. His explosiveness is a lot different than it was before. He's wrestling again. His conditioning's on another level, so it's actually good. And Dennis is naturally strong, so to be powerful, we needed to work on his speed a bit. So we're working on Dennis's speed a lot and his power endurance. So being able to basically, whether it's take down Bisping, throw combinations, whatever it is, and basically recover so he's able to throw more or take him down again or work while he's on the ground.
What else? Anything else you want to add about his training?
Dennis, you know, he's training with the best here, so he's got all the best training partners in the world. He's got to go to ATT and train with some great guys there, so you know he'll be more than prepared against Bisping. You know, he's going to train hard for this fight, but Dennis will be in great shape for it.
So a lot of stuff is made and a lot of respect given to the Wolf Slayer, where Bisping trains out of. I mean, what sets your techniques apart?
I mean, Wolf Slayer is more old school. You know, they have some good boxing guys, but it's not a complete MMA gym. Britain's still, even though they won the Ultimate Fighter, they're still a bit behind. They have some good strength and conditioning coaches there, but Bisping himself is pretty not one-dimensional, but you know what you get with Bisping. So it's not like George, who's always evolving. You know, not like Nate Marquardt, who's always evolving. So these guys are always getting better, and you don't know what to expect of them. They can pull out new things every fight. Bisping, you know, you got to be careful for, you know, X amount of things, maybe 1, 2, 3, and then from there on, he's not going to show too many more wrinkles in his game. He's not a very powerful guy, so you don't really worry about his power. Dan Henderson showed that by being able to walk him down. Bisping doesn't fight while backing up, so Henderson had the right game plan. He just backed up Bisping, and Bisping didn't really want to engage too much. So, you know, Dennis is just as strong and powerful as Dan Henderson, so it'll be a fun fight.
How do you think after Bisping was basically humiliated in the ring by Henderson, he's going to change his game?
I was speaking about this to someone, and he's either going to do two things. Either when you are shocked like that and you get embarrassed and you get beaten very badly, you can either curl up into a shell and you're never the same fighter you were before because you can't get back to that level, or he's going to train so hard that he is going to come out crazy. So he's going to come out very aggressive in the first round and try and set the tempo and try and basically show that that was a fluke, or that he's not affected by being knocked out that badly. So I'm picking that one. I think Bisping's going to come out really, really hard in this fight, try and actually set the tone and try and actually come forward against Dennis, other than his normal counter-punching, peppering style. He's not a knockout fighter, so he's basically he'll pick you apart, and you know, he's happy with decisions. I think he's going to try and set the pace.
Will the home field advantage mean anything?
You know, I think it will. You know, when we go to London, I found this for myself, is that you're just not comfortable. You know, you're in another, it's not American, so it's not Canadian, it's not American. So when you're usually in Vegas, you know what you're getting. You know, you're Vegas or even the other cities, you know where to eat. You know, the hotels are pretty much the same. When you're in London, there's a lot of traveling from the airport to your venue. It's just not, what I found when I was there is, even though it's a great place, you're not as comfortable. Bisping will be in his hometown, so he's probably be sleeping in his own bed. You know, it's those kind of things. The crowd, all crowds are crazy. You know, he might get a bit of energy from the crowd, which is great, and he doesn't want to be embarrassed in front of his home crowd, but Dennis has fought everywhere. Dennis has fought in Japan, so.